Hi, this is George Alger with another edition of Our Ventura. And today I'm going to be speaking with Todd Thayer, who's the Executive Director of CAPS TV here in Ventura. Welcome.
Thank you, George. Good to be here.
So Todd, you are the TV guy, all right?
It kind of seems that way. It's kind of what I've been doing for 30 some odd years now.
Well, let's get a little bit more about you before we move into
Okay.
the facilities and stuff. So 30 years, it's a lot of activity.
Yep.
Where have you been doing this?
I started out actually while I was still in high school. My first job in television was a UHF station down in Orange County. I started out fixing cables, taking things apart, putting stuff back together, and moved from there to a new station was launching in Anaheim, Channel 56. And was part of getting that built and signed on the air, and then followed the chief engineer there up to Oxnard in 1985 and helped build and sign Channel 63 on the air in Oxnard. Was there from 85 to 88. And then spent some time kind of freelancing and doing different things, and then did some work in LA. Again, all this was commercial TV. Doing a lot of facility building. I mean, starting out signing channels on the air, learned a lot about how things went together. And so did a couple of those throughout the 90s, basically, and then went to work for a company that ended up getting bought out by a very large company. And built a big studio, built 4 studios actually, 80,000 square foot production space, was the director of production there.
Nice.
And tinkered around a little bit with some interactive TV, and then the tech bubble popped, and was looking around, getting tired of commuting, because I'd been up here since 85, more or less commuting to LA. And CAPS was looking for an executive director. They were just getting started back in 2001 and 2, and applied in 2002 and ended up getting hired in 2003, and came on board. Basically, they were looking for someone to help them get this facility built, and with my background, it seemed like a good fit, and I've been here ever since.
A lot of good things have been happening
Well,
since you've
we've
been
been
here.
having fun.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
All right, so for those who may not understand, could you lay a pretty good thumbnail or outline of what public access is?
So public access is one part of what we consider community access or community media. And really under federal law, there are 3 legs. There's public, education, and government access. Public access generally is referred to as the public voice. And education and government access are aspects of that, but really are more the voices of your organizations and institutions within a community. But basically what the legislators decided is, as cable was rolling out and there was a desire on the part of the cable companies to build infrastructure into cities, the cities were asking for payment, basically rent of the public right-of-way, access to either telephone poles or underground, basically entree into the city. And at the beginning, it was a monopoly. It's not a monopoly anymore. There's competition, but you basically came and negotiated a franchise with the city, and you got to build your cable system, and you got those eyeballs, the population of the city. If they wanted cable rather than over the air, then that's what they had. This was before satellite and a lot of other things. And so cities basically, under federal law, the Telecom Act in the 70s, provided for a franchise fee and a PEG fee that could be charged a cable company, and in return they got access to the infrastructure, or to build infrastructure within the city. And so those fees, the PEG fees and the franchise fees, flow through the city, and the city in a lot of places operates public education and government, or some combination thereof. The model we work under here is a nonprofit model. It's a little more common in Northern California and back east. Massachusetts probably is the most prolific. I know one executive director of an access center in Massachusetts that drives past 3 access centers on his way home.
Wow.
So basically every town there has an access center, and it's driven by state law there. But essentially, in the case of Ventura, the city looked at the scenario and said, look, we want to set up a nonprofit. very much a lot of times in the way a library is set up, to house resources, to provide education facilities and training to the community so that they can learn to participate in electronic media. It's more than just Wayne's World. You know, everybody tends to look down their nose at public access, and you hear about the naked cable guy, or you hear about, you know, all these different things that go on. But the reality is you've got arts and culture, you've got music, you've got educational, civic, political issues that come up in a very localized forum that you don't get. You know, I mean, when the last time you went out and bought ad time on Channel 4 in LA?
Not recently.
Okay. While they say it's a local station, it's not local to Ventura. It's not local to Ventura County. And so the concept of community media and the concept of a community media center is to provide access to the local community at a local level so that they can deliver local content to their local neighbors, their people that, you know, live in the same town. You know, unless it's somebody's, you know, died on the freeway or there's a big storm, you don't even see LA TV up here very much. And so what we're here to do is to extend the concept of first, free speech, second of all, media literacy and digital competency into the community, and provide training, provide a place where they can come and at little or no charge they can get up to speed and learn how to use these tools to tell their story.
And I would like to add that since I've gone through the training, it's a good program.
Thanks.
And also, as an attendant note to that, I have worked with other public access stations as well, and
Right.
the staff here is very friendly, very supportive. So for folks who might be interested in coming in for the first time and have whatever trepidation that could be natural, I should just emphasize that this is really a friendly place to, you know, to get started.
Well, thank you, and that's good to hear. And a lot of the places that people might be familiar with, it might have been cable company operated, and so they're not really interested in the community partnership aspect. They're there, they're fulfilling an obligation, and they'll do their job. But they're not really looking to deepen and to grow the community roots the way that a nonprofit. I mean, that's really CAPS as a 501c3, a community benefit nonprofit corporation. We are our members. Our members, like you, come in and, you know, they want to have service, and that's part of what we have to offer them. And you can do it well, you know, and I hope that we're doing it well, you know. And then the additional piece of that is the technology that comes with it, and so that's where, when you talk about the funding, the technology that is here to put this show together, to put some of the other stuff together, comes in, and we are able to do training and really, I think, make a difference. You know, whether it's for you, you know, we do our digital storytelling classes in the summertime, so there's a lot of different aspects to it. It's a very broad palette that you can draw from to help people to get involved in media in their community.
And to further emphasize the value that CAPS has to the community, I'd like to add that not all communities have it to begin with, and that some of those who have had it no longer because it's been going away. I wonder if you could speak about that.
Yeah, and you know, in 2005, 2006, there was a push. You know, some of the telecom companies wanted to get into the cable market, and they didn't really like the concept of local franchise negotiations. They, for whatever reason, didn't believe that that was a business model they wanted to pursue. And so they pushed for legislation. 13 states in that time frame passed state legislation that changed the way local franchises were negotiated. And so now in California we have a state franchise that is basically, you fill out a form and turn it in, and you can become a cable operator in the state of California. You don't have the local safety requirements, the local enforcement, the teeth in the local municipalities and ordinances that kept them on the straight and narrow. You don't have universal service requirements. There's no build-out requirements, so that both the high-income and the low-income section of town, all that was changed with state franchising. The good news is, in Ventura, we had a franchise in place, and under DIVCA, we were able to convert the franchise dollars to going forward funding, and that's worked out pretty well for us. Other municipalities, other communities were not so fortunate. Oxnard, their public access in Oxnard went dark. Ojai has gone dark. Long Beach has gone dark, and I'm actually working with them now to get it restarted. Ojai is looking to work with their school district and get restarted. So there's some good news, but overall, I think the latest numbers that I heard were roughly 50 communities. The public access piece got shut down because of the change in the franchising, because of the state franchise. The interesting piece in that is that the government channels didn't necessarily get shut down. The PEG fees and the franchise fees continue to flow through to the cities, but because of the budget, crunch and the economic downturn, a lot of the cities just said, public access is not a requirement. This is not important. Paving the streets is more important, or whatever else is more important. And I hope that there's an opportunity to go back and repair some of that, because I think fundamentally in our society today, there's a globalization of everything, including media, including communications. And the loss of local communications, the loss of the ability to communicate with the city hyper-locally is very important. And when it's lost, the community loses some of the connection to its neighbors, to its government, and to the things going on around it. So I think that there was a perfect storm of legislation and economy that really hit the public access community. And we're hoping that as we come out of the economic issues and as the economy begins to grow back, that more organizations are able to reestablish themselves. Because it's easy to sit back and look at 200 channels and find something to watch, but how much of that has to do with your local community? How much of that has to do with your local sports events and your parades and the other things that go on in your community that you would never see if you had to rely on the major national networks.
Well said. So we're just about out of time. Mm-hmm. Is there a concise message that you would like to convey to the community?
I think community media is the place where your voice can be heard. I think if there's one piece, whether your politics are left or right, whether you're religious or not, whether you're musical or not, there's something in this community that's going on that you can be a part of in helping to tell that story. There are opportunities all the time as we go through the summer. We'll be ramping up a new platform, and we're hoping to get out and do sports at the high school levels, maybe even at the junior high school levels. So there's oral histories. There's folks that are World War II veterans that we're losing every day. Cultural things that are going on, where if people like you don't get up, come in, learn how to use it, use the equipment, we're going to lose those experiences. And so this equipment, this facility, this training is here for them to use, and we would just encourage everyone to pick up, come in, figure out how to do it, and then find out where their passion is and tell that story. Because everybody has a story, and everybody likes to hear local stories.
Good. And then what's the website?
www.capstv.org, capstv.org.
All right. Well, Todd, we're out of time. I want to thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me come.
All right. And this is George Alger wrapping up this segment of Our Ventura. Until next time, take care.